I had a birth defect that I had to have a lot of surgeries when I was young. I mean, I've had 55 surgeries, so, I mean, my lifestyle, unfortunately, was very medically oriented. I was a senior in high school, and I took a couple of these pills for a headache, and a horrible headache, and all of a sudden it was like, huh, I feel normal, 100% completely normal. And then at the time, was writing music, so I went and wrote, and then just, gosh, this is great. And I felt better than normal, and I remember that really clearly. It was almost like, oh, baby, where have you been my whole life? You know, and I never got that with beer. You know, I was in the band, and I was always the young guy in the band, and people would be drinking beer, and I'd be like, no thanks, you know. I had health issues, so I was avoiding all of that. All of my friends, especially in the music, were supportive of me not using drugs because of my health problems. So when I finally did kind of get started on some pain drug regimen, nobody was surprised. As a matter of fact, people would always say, I don't know how you function without your pain meds. Because I had pain. I had horrible pain. My record came out in 1990. And so I began to have problems with that not long after that. I remember being on the road. My tour manager managed my pain medications. I was allowed to have 2 pills at the end of every gig. And I was in pain at the end of the gigs, don't get me wrong. But, you know, I missed my entire music career because of that, because all I could think about was, man, I can't wait to get my pills, can't wait to get my pills, can't wait to get my pills. You know, when we were on the road, you know, if you're drunk, you're off the tour. If you're smoking dope, you're off the tour. If you're doing any drugs, you're off the tour. And here I was, can't wait to get my 2 pills. So, what a life. I mean, I'm an addict, man. You know, drug of choice is more. I was injecting my prescribed medication one day thinking, wow, this must be what junkies feel like. And I knew something wasn't right. I was speaking to a girl who was a heroin junkie. And she said, you had prescribed Demerol that you were shooting? I was like, yeah. She goes, man, you lucky son of a gun. I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, oh my God, you don't get it. I said, what? She goes, you're a junkie, dude. And I'm like, no, I'm not. This stuff was prescribed. She goes, no, dude. And you had stuff that was prescribed. I would have killed to have what you had. And that was the first, I always tell people it was like poking holes in a tarp, getting sober. It was oh my gosh, there's a pinpoint of light. So that was where things began to change. I no longer was hearing what I wanted to hear, I was hearing what I needed to hear. And in that changed me. Because then it was like, okay, you know, I'm not entitled to all of this pain medication just because I was born with this. I'm not entitled to a better life because I was born to this. I'm no different. And it was refreshing. So September 11th of 1999 was when I got sober. And I had said I will never play music again when I first got sober because I blame the music business. One of the things that the guy that treated me said is, he goes, I want you to sing in every group. And my ego was saying, you have any idea what kind of money I make to do this? But I also knew that he knew. I sang the national anthem at the Brickyard, and that was a dream of mine. And I was sober, and it was one of the coolest moments ever. I'll never forget. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. My father was there, and some very, very dear friends were there, and it was like, yeah, this is it. I lived the entire moment. It was like everything that had ever been bad in my life and everything that had ever been good right there, and the home of the brave, and the planes flying over, and it was like, yes, this is why we do this.